Aliens are among us. Well, so I keep hearing. So today I'm going to share my thoughts on everything alien. I mean, I've got some stats in my pocket, don't worry about that. I want to argue the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, and obviously share my opinion along the way, but more and more these days I'm seeing disclosure thrown here, there and everywhere else. And I mean, I quite like the idea of aliens and interstellar travel and exploring the galaxy. So constantly blueballing us like this and saying there's aliens and then it's always like a half truth. It's starting to really do my nutting. So I'd like to throw my hat in the ring and start talking about some aliens for this episode. See if we can find the good and the bad along the way. And I mean, I don't think I've got the answers, but I like to explore this topic and just talk about the possibilities and just some of the kind of common things that I see where they just either don't make sense to me or they overly make sense to me. So, without more rambling, let's go get into this episode. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast, and I'm your host, John. And on this episode, I'm talking everything aliens, UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, maybe even lizard people. Like, there's so much possibility in life that this is a topic I can really sink my teeth into. And Dave ain't here to kind of spoil the fun in that sense. He don't like to think about aliens, but I do. So hopefully we can really explore this topic. Like I said on the intro, the good and the bad. I don't want to be here just spouting there are aliens or there ain't aliens. Like, really and truly, I don't know whether there are or not. I've never seen one in person, and until that happens, I won't be able to tell you. The state of AI and kind of digital capabilities these days is kind of, it leaves you in such a state of undeterminism, if that's even a word, where you can't actually determine whether what you see is real or not. Like, the caliber of AI and CGI and all of that stuff is so ridiculous. Like, I know the kind of editing tricks that I can get away with and all of that. So when I see some of these videos and pictures and all of that, it's so easy to be like, seriously? Like, this is what's got everybody hype? I'll chuck it up somewhere on screen at the minute, but there's a spaceship going around and the photo of it, okay, cool. It's meant to be from 2021 or something like that. But it shows a UFO about 1,000 feet over four corners in Arizona, I think it is. And not only has it been debunked by so many people in terms of the way the shadow interacts with the ground, this, that, and everything else. Even from a novice, somebody that doesn't debunk UFO stuff or look at, like, first of all, the quality of it, even though it was only 4 years ago or whatever else, it looks absolutely atrocious. And that is something that is always kind of renowned with UFO photos. Our cameras have been getting better and better for decades now. So to say that we haven't got a clear, crisp photo of these UFOs, or if we do have them, they're too highly disclosed, but yet we can talk about them, there's so much in it that is just... It seems like a shell game. Like, you want UFOs, well, I want UFOs to be real. I want to fly around in a spaceship and explore the stars. But it's a shell game that just keeps getting moved about. It's always out of reach. They say, oh, look, there's this, oh, there's that. Just, if there are aliens, come on, just make yourself known. I don't think the people or the governments in that sense would have an air to say, oh, we are going to filter it out, this or that. Like, if their capabilities are that far ahead of ours, really, what do we have to say? We are the ants in a farm in that way. So when we're looking at all of these kind of pictures and evidences of it, I just think if we was genuinely dealing with a superior intelligence that could transverse space or dimensions or wherever it may or may not have come from, to say that it's going to stop at our rules or our say-so just seems to baffle me to an extent. Where it's just like, our minds and just humans in general have their embedded biases, whether we want to or not. we're always going to want to preserve ourselves. So all of these people that work in these places that could have that impact are always going to kind of try and make things go in their favor. So if you was an alien, would you interact with those people? If you were a superior intelligence, would you not just kind of cut out the middleman in that sense and go straight to the people and say, hey, you're not alone? Why would you trickle feed it through governments and through whistleblowers and this and that in a very inorganic or just unproductive way? Like the capabilities that it would take to transverse space, the technology that you could show people and everything else would be absolutely insane. But it's always kept just out of reach. Like before it was UFOs and now it's UAPs, and they say that UAPs are more scientific term or whatever else. But again, I doubt to think that there's 100% truth there. Like to me, there's so many things you get around by reclassification. Like not only do you kind of, I guess, have a clean slate for all the new cases that now fall under that criteria opposed to the previous one, but we also have this thing of, before it was obviously just flying, but now they're saying that these objects don't just go in the air, they're transmedium. So they go through the water, they go through mountains, they go through the air, they go through space, they go everywhere. Which makes me think they would be transdimensional because they ignore all of the things in our dimension. But there's so many things where it's like, in 2021, there was 144 sightings recorded from 2004 to 2021. That's not many, and most of these sightings had radar or video proof. And only one of them was a weather balloon. But it's still, I don't believe that means 143 were UFOs with just spaceship flying around. Without, I mean, again, it is entirely possible. There are so many things. We're still discovering species on this earth. We definitely do not have everything sussed out yet. But I don't see over 140 UFOs flying around our skies going completely unobserved in that sense. Or if they are unobserved, why would they ever be observed at all? So to tie it back to that picture that casted I don't know if it's got an actual official name yet, the one that casted the 1,000-foot shadow. So it basically, if it was the shiny metal that they described, even my brain straight away goes, well, shiny means reflective. So would it not just reflect the sunlight that was around it? And in the area that it was in was a very kind of open area in that sense. So would it not just reflect the light and stop itself casting its shadow? Otherwise, there would be supposedly a lot of shadows that just go around the world, have no explanation in that sense. Like, I don't know what the science behind it would be, but there is only going to be so much of a shadow from an aeroplane for so long before there is so much light hitting the bottom of it as well as the top of it that it doesn't create that shadow. At least my mind would say that. I don't know. But that's where my mind goes, instantly goes, well, straight away, if these things can kind of camouflage themselves and make themselves nigh on invisible to radar, to the naked eye, to whatever else, why would they be caught out with something so stupid as like a shadow, or they've just, I don't know, uncovered, what would be the right word? I don't know, uncloaked or whatever. All my sci-fi terminology is just completely gone out the window at the minute. But the numbers have started to increase kind of over the last 3-4 years, where like total reports in 2022 were 510. That's what, 3-4 times as much as between 2004 and 2021? But is that just, like, there's so much changed in the world in that time, in terms of technologies, in terms of capabilities, and all of this stuff that isn't, as well as just like the idea of people. So like people's minds changed, they was more open to the possibilities of things. even if you look at like UFO stuff, especially in terms of like the Marvel universe and things like that, there's far more kind of UFO alien based stuff. Just kind of, what would the word be? The zeitgeist? I don't know. See, this is when Dave would be good when I can be like, yeah, fact check me on this, but we'll survive. There's so much where it's like, because it's so much in our culture, the kind of idea of aliens, and everybody has that idea of what an alien would look like. But what's to say that's what they would look like at all? All the times, or majority of the times we depict aliens, they're relatively humanoid. And there's nothing to actually say that's true. Like, humans are a pretty ineffective way of being. Look at nature, for example. There are so many ways in which, depending on the life that you live, you have to be adapted in different ways. So now, to say that everything in the solar system, or once you get off planet, the most superior form of life is still going to have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, this, that, or whatever else. Like, intelligent life may not even be the same base as us. Like, we're carbon-based life, if I'm not mistaken. So now if you had like a silicone-based life or a helium-based life form, or there's so many different elements that could kind of be the base for life. But yet we judge all other life by the standard of ours. So even in there, we've kind of ingrained our own human biases on it. So when you're trying to squeeze alien life through this human lens, I think we just kind of do ourselves a disservice and miss a lot of stuff. I think being open to whatever the hell aliens may look like, if they exist, is always going to be far better than being like, I'm looking for this type of looking alien. Like, imagine a whole species of aliens, like, of sentient rock. Again, it's an idea that's been explored in, like, Marvel movies and probably multiple movies across the kind of, what would be the word? Rolodex of film, I guess, for lack of a better word. But, like, NASA's always saying that they just need, like, better quality this, better quality that, or whatever. But, like, look at the camera quality in our phones. That everybody is walking around just at the flick of a wrist, they can pull up a high definition camera. But yet any camera footage or any video footage, photos that we get of aliens, UFOs and all of that stuff, it's always grainier than anything. And I know I'm not one to throw stones, like sometimes my footage comes out a lot grainier than I'd like, but technical difficulties and all that I'm welcome to. But there are so many things, and like, I think all of these whistleblowers coming out recently are just kind of throwing logs on the fire, but not necessarily in a good way. Like, what benefit do they have to come out now? After all is said and done, and what they come out with as well, there is like, oh, we can say this, but I can't say that, and it just seems so disingenuous. That everybody's going to come out with their book from it, a spin-off movie, the amount of money that is going to be made just out of the idea. I mean, look, even I'm making an episode on it here, for God's sake. So, the amount of kind of content in various forms that comes out of the idea of disclosure and the thought of aliens. Like, imagine the amount of non-fiction. Is it non-fiction? I always get those two confused. But imagine the amount of literature that is written about aliens, UFOs, this, that, and everything else. Like, it is a massive, massive subject. So, to try to fit it through a human lens, we're going to do so many disservices along the way. There's going to be so many instances where we just cannot perceive how life is going to be. There was this interesting show on Netflix, and I think it was called Life on Other Planets. It was a long time ago that I watched it. But it basically explored the idea of how and why life will evolve on other planets. And I really like the concept of that kind of, I guess it would be a docudrama or something. Because it explored the potential, not just of what it would look like, but why it would look like that. How the kind of prey and predators would interact with each other and the kind of symbiosis of the overall environment. How different elements would work together and why they would work together in the ways that they do. And it is fascinating to think that, because there's nothing to say that all life is going to operate like the life that we lead. Like, even people from city to city, country to country, we lead different lives. We have a different understanding of what life is. So is that not going to be exaggerated as soon as you kind of go off planet and leave the world? I mean, every time that's going to just keep sending me on tangents. That thought of just getting in a spaceship. Like, I like going on the drive in my car and just kind of hitting the open road and going for a cruise for a bit. When the sun's shining, you got music on and you can just enjoy life and cruising for a while. Now imagine doing that through the solar system. That would be absolute. So I'm all here for the idea of spaceships and intergalactic travel and all of that. Like, trust me, if we come out with a spaceship that you can park on your driveway and have as your own private vehicle, sign me up. I might not be able to afford it right now, but sign me up, because I want one of those. But I don't know if it is a fallacy at the minute. There's so many things where you see like concept art. And even when I said that idea, there's this concept flying car that you can get, which kind of fits that idea. But even still, it's only a concept. It doesn't make it to mass production. So how many ideas of aliens just stay in that kind of concept phase? Or I guess life as well, because if we're talking about aliens in the sense that they can come here, they would have to get to the point where not only are they competent and survive themselves, but they would also have to get to the point where they could leave the planet. So it's not to say that there isn't aliens out there that are just existing, living their life, going to school, going to work, whatever they may do in their alien life. But then when you look at it through the lens of, can they leave their planet and interact with others? Maybe they're not quite there yet. I mean, we're not there yet. We're stumbling and trying to find our feet, but we're not there yet. We can't do interstellar travel and all of these other things. So it's not to say we're never going to get there, but maybe life around the world is kind of like us in that way, opposed to literally like us in our appearance. But it's more like us in our struggles of experience. And there's other sentient life out there in its own kind of galaxy or its own whatever. And it's trying to figure out how to get off planet and how to make itself sustainable over generations, and also looking back through its past and understanding why previous generations failed. So there's so much to kind of take into consideration when you're talking about life in any sense. As soon as you go kind of interplanetary, it just gets so much more complicated. Like, it's exponentially more complicated. Because even think about the idea of humans now. We went through that whole phase of people wanting to check their genealogy and this, that, and everything else. Understanding their history and all of the things that come through history, all of the good and the bad things that happen through a civilization's history. Well, imagine trying to learn that for another alien or another species completely. But then imagine that that's been going on the whole time and we're completely unaware of it. Like, maybe the whole time aliens have been here, and the ones that are unaware are just the ones that are unaware, and the ones that are aware are just that. And you don't quite kind of veer off of that. I mean, it's an interesting thought. It's just like, kind of like Men in Black, just kind of going around amongst life, but not too interacting with life. I mean, the term lizard people and all of that is thrown across or thrown out a lot. But again, what does it even mean? Where does it come from? All of these things, they must have an origin point, and they've got some I guess they do have some historical value, in the sense of like myths and legends. You tend to hear a lot about kind of aliens and things that tend to be unexplainable, or There's ancient artworks, well, not ancient, but old artworks as well, with like UFOs painted in the back of them and that. But I don't know, sometimes it just, the skeptic in me is like, it could have been done at a later date, or maybe they just see something and that's their way of conceptualizing it. Or maybe there was something that fit that description back then, and nowadays, to us, that's a UFO, but to them, that was how they drew a frisbee, or I don't know. Like, there's so many ideas that once we try to fit them through our lens, again, it kind of taints it. So it's so hard to form an opinion based on, what would be the word? Damn it. I need to swallow a thesaurus. Based on other people's experience. So like living vicariously through others, it's very hard to find any definitive answers. At least to me. Like I say, to truly say if alien life is true and to truly see or understand what it is, where it comes from. I don't need myths and legends. I need to see it for myself. I need to be able to understand it and genuinely like hold it in my hands, realize like, okay, cool, this is a physical being, this, that, and everything else. I can't just be told a fable or a story or a news article or somebody's testimonial or whatever else. I need genuine hands-on evidence for that. Like, it's so easy to get skeptical. To say, oh, it's, I don't know, ball lightning, it's a bird, it's a weather balloon, it's radar glitches, it's another country doing this, that, or whatever else. Like, there's so many things where it's like, you genuinely need absolute strong proof. And again, look at the things that have been done through history. Like, people have dressed up in alien costumes and faked videos and done like fake press conferences and this, that, and everything else. And like, oh, disclosure, oh, look, there's an alien, blah. So like, to genuinely make people believe, you're going to need some real hard evidence. But see, even that makes me skeptical. Because then if you're making it so hard for people to believe, are you double bluffing? Are you making it so hard to believe because you're doing it right under their nose? Because I've been guilty of that. So am I now subject to that? Are they trying to say like, oh, no, don't believe in aliens, but believe in aliens? No, we mean believe in aliens. Like, here's all of the evidence. Believe in aliens. Believe. So then you start to talk yourself out of the idea. So then they can carry on with whatever they're doing. Because the idea of aliens changes a hell of a lot for all of us. Like, straight away, it's made the possibilities for life exponentially bigger. Like, the biggest kind of achievement on this planet, say being like richest person in the world, king of the world, whatever you want to think, that gets diminished exponentially once you start looking at the universe. Say like world's strongest man, world's fastest man, world's smartest man, or whatever else. Okay, cool. Well, there's like quintillions of planets. So really that means absolutely nothing. Like, it's, yeah. Oh, it would definitely change a lot if there was kind of full disclosure in that sense, or I don't know if everybody would handle it. Like I say, I would very much enjoy my own spaceship. But there are so many people that can't even contend with life on this planet. How would they contend with life on other planets? Of life just out in the universe? Like, even this kind of simple concept of like your car breaking down. Well, now if your spaceship breaks down, what's the chances of a breakdown service in space? And all, like, there's so many more variables. Even the concept of space in itself kind of escapes my mind sometimes, where I wonder if it is something that we're ever meant to be able to kind of contextualize. Like, again, you can only see so much. You can only absorb so much information and understand so much. So is the vastness of space just beyond anybody's kind of conceptualization in that sense? I don't know, like, how far can the human eye see? If there was nothing in its way, how far forward can it see? And then how far left and right can it see? But then how much of that can it actually contextualize and say, cool, this is, for example, this would be this heavy, or this would make this many, whatever else. I think it just gets to that point where you can't keep up. Like my old analogy of like, you can't really quantify how big a swimming pool is when you're in the swimming pool. So it's not until you get out that you can really kind of quantify its size and its depth and so on and so forth. Life's a lot like that. So now when you're outside and you're in the universe, and it's so easy to lose sight of your planet, let alone where you was going for the day or whatever else. How easy is it going to be to, that would exponentially increase the variables in life. It's fun to think about and explore all of the possibilities, but I think it definitely complicates things more than anything else. It adds in so many more variables. And I don't think we're ready to conceptualize all of those variables. Like, how would you age if you was traveling through space? Like, our whole concept of aging and how we move through life and everything else would be completely messed up. How would time move in that sense if you was traveling from planet to planet at warp speed? But would there be any coherence to the time? Because if space and time are related, and the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time, the more traveling that you do, the less you would experience in comparison to those that were standing still. So while you're traveling through the universe, you would lose track of people. People would lose track of you. Like, imagine you went at, again, I'm no scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but dummy science. If you went exponentially faster than the people that you shared a universe with repeatedly, you would increase that kind of time difference between you two. And depending on how far you traveled, how close you went to black holes and this, that, and everything else, how long you spent still in various places, how fast you went when you traveled, what direction, blah, 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 blah. All those different variables would change what the hell is going on from the first person's point of view. So would anybody's life have coherency in that sense? Damn, that boggles the mind. It's just, to think about it, seriously just becomes more confusing than, I don't know. And this is why I don't think disclosure is going to help in any sense. Because, again, it's such a big topic with so many variables and exponential things that kind of cascade out of it, that I don't think we can actually comprehend how much it would change about our lives. Not just the way we live them on the day-to-day, but our aspirations for life and what we want to do with our lives, where we want to go, the kind of relationships that we have, every aspect of life. Like, cool, you could be a plumber on Earth, but you could be a space plumber, or you could be a space mechanic, or you could be a space real estate agent, that's the word. There's so many variables that would be added to life the moment that you kind of introduce aliens. I mean, could humans breed with aliens? That's a twisted one. But where's the line there? Or would they make kind of like hybrids? Would that be like a mule? Whereas like an alien could have a child with a human, but then that child would be sterile and wouldn't be able to have any more children? And then does that tie into the idea of angels and gods and all of that kind of biblical literature in that sense? And was that the original inspiration for all of that stuff? Oh. See, the mind just goes spinning and spinning and spinning with this topic. It's fun, don't get me wrong. I love this topic. I could talk about this topic for hours. But it just goes in spirals. Like, until I could actually go into space myself and witness what is going on out there, even then, how much of it can you actually kind of experience, or how much of it can you actually understand and feel? And I don't know, like, even when you're in the ocean, right? So, I mean, what was it, last year when I went to the coast and I was swimming in the ocean. And I was trying to conceptualize how much water I was in. Bearing in mind, I'm at the coast of the country, so I'm literally swimming in the sea. Realistically, all of that should be connected around the world. And I was trying to, could I resonate with that idea? Like, the water that I was in was around all of the world in various forms. It had life in it in various forms and countless life in that matter. And all of the other things. And again, you can't comprehend. Like, there is no way. Even, again, as far as the human eye can see, as far as the human ear can hear, as far as the tongue can taste, there is only so much that we can experience and that we can kind of draw into ourselves and understand through that lens. So once you go out into space in the universe, do we get that kind of sensory overload? Is that just part of life that is meant to be out of our reach? I really don't know. But then, see, even there, it touches on the idea of, well, I touched on the idea of angels and demons. But then if that's inspired by aliens, does that prove or disprove ideas of angels and demons and gods and goddesses and all of that stuff? It really just poses more questions than anything. So if you have any answers, please volunteer them in the comments below. This is, like I say, this is a topic that I love, but I don't know if I'm doing it a service or a disservice here, but it's something that I do want to talk about. It's an area of life that I'd love to explore. And if I do ever get the chance to go to space, as long as I can come back down, then sweet, I will go for that experience. I think it would definitely broaden my horizons in so many ways. Like, I think to my knowledge, I've had out-of-body experiences to space before. But again, I can't touch them. They're spiritual experiences. They're metaphysical, if that's the right word to use. They're not physical. Then it's not, I can't grab a star and touch it and be like, wow, I'm in space holding a star. Like, as much as that wouldn't work scientifically. Like, yeah. I've been in planes, but like pretty much my carcass has stayed on this planet. So until I can say differently, I don't know if I will be able to conceptualize if there is other life out there or how it would be. Like, again, you can't even conceptualize the planet that you're on, that you're on a planet. Like, that is so mad to think about that, yeah, I think I'm going to have to wrap the episode on that. We're on a planet, supposedly. I mean, hey, people are still arguing that fact. I mean, we're arguing about aliens. Well, not arguing, we're talking about aliens, but people still don't agree whether the Earth is flat, round, hollow, square, on the back of a tortoise, or whatever else. So to say that what levels there are to life, what kind of criteria life needs to flourish, I don't think we're anywhere close to being able to say that. But it's interesting to think about, and I'd hope that we're not alone in the universe. It's a far better universe if we're not alone, at least in my eyes. But I think I better think for a seed for this episode now and not try and miss the armrest and fall over to end it. I think the seed for this episode is going to be open. Be open to the idea that life has many, many forms, many variations, and many possibilities and potentials out there. There could be aliens. They could be like us, or they could be very different from us. Who are we to say? But as long as we as long as we stay open to the idea of them, the idea of more possibilities of life, the ideas of different humanoids, even on this planet. Like, we may not have to go off planet to find aliens. The aliens could be here. Like I said earlier, we're still finding many, many species around this planet. We could find another species of humans somewhere. The world's a big place. So stay open to all of the possibilities of life, big and small, whether it be aliens or something so simple as a new friendship. Stay open, my friends, and I'll catch you on the next one.